In the relatively short history of games as a medium, there have always been those who decry their very existence. Whether we're talking the 1993 Night Trap fiasco, Jack Thompson's ceaseless tirades against the industry itself, or the many politicians who have made a stand against the medium they believe inspires young people to commit violent atrocities. I could use this video to stand up against the blatant lie that all games are nothing but murder simulators where you mow down other people in order to rack up points, but the topic of today's video is actually a game called Hotline Miami where you actually mow down people in order to rack up points. Welcome to the Pixcelation Show, the only series on YouTube to tackle the questions on everyone's minds, such as, who is leaving messages on my answering machine? I'm Pixcelation, and in today's episode we'll be taking a look into the addictive but heavily philosophical Hotline Miami, a game developed by Denatun Games and published by Devolver Digital.
I bet you want that game. I bet you want to buy that game. You will buy that game. I believe in you. Buy that motherfucking game.
In the story of Hotline Miami, you play as an unnamed protagonist, affectionately referred to as Jacket by fans because he's wearing a jacket. Get it? Who finds that he's been receiving a lot of mysterious voicemails lately, all of whom instruct him to commit massacres across the city of Miami. In each stage, you'll guide Jacket as he uses a hodgepodge of weapons to make quick, or not so quick, work of the Russian mafia. And in one stage, you even get to massacre an entire police station if, that's what you're into, but please, for the love of all that is holy, do not try this at home, kiddos. I'm serious. It's about halfway through the main story that you begin to notice that not everything is as it seems. From the start, you're being stalked by a mysterious trio wearing animal masks. There's a bearded man who seems to juggle like 4 or 5 different jobs, and at some point you'll see a handful of corpses just hanging around as if all is normal. I bought the game back when I was in college, and it really impressed me with the way it told a compelling narrative that's interwoven between countless stages of mindless slaughter. I bought the game once again for the PlayStation 4 in order to write this video, and it still hasn't quit surprising me. I never went out of my way to unlock the secret ending before, but now that I have, I'm confident in saying that Hotline Miami is a cautionary tale of the dangers of nationalism. If you're confused by that statement, let me explain. In order to do so, however, I need to insert a spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't picked the game up yet. Okay, are you still here? If you're a completionist, as I pretend to be, then you might know that each level contains a very well-hidden puzzle piece, a seemingly random letter of the alphabet. And after getting all of them, you have to figure out what this jumbled mess of letters is supposed to say. If you get them all, you'll find that it's a phrase. I was born in the USA. If you were wondering, I find that phrase, paired with the context of the game itself, to be utterly horrifying. In the final stage, if you didn't get all of the pieces, you encounter the true masterminds behind the killings, but neither of them reveal anything of use about the story. But if you return to the final stage after getting all of the pieces, and after you input the password on the computer, the scene will play out differently. It's revealed that the masterminds are members of a nationalist group called 50 Blessings, who, thanks to a war between the United States and Russia, as well as the total decimation of the city of San Francisco, harbor an intense racism towards the Ruskies, going so far as to manipulate veterans' hatred of their former enemies to commit horrifying massacres across the city of Miami. I played the sequel, Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number, so none of this was really a surprise to me. But knowing the game is about nothing more than a poor, unfortunate soul forced to fight in a devastating war, only to come home and then be forced to commit more unspeakable acts by a group of nationalist scumbags who are more than happy to take advantage of their illnesses to further their own agenda, really made me shiver. It's made even worse when you think about how Jacket was led to believe that, towards the end, he was getting revenge on the people who killed his girlfriend, when the true culprits were the nationalist cult themselves, not the Russian mafia. In no way am I defending Jacket's actions. There's no excuse for cold-blooded murder, but given the facts in this case, and knowing that he might not have done these things if the nutjob nationalists had simply left him alone, it's easier to sympathize with him than it might be for Biker, who agreed to follow their orders because he thought it would be fun. In the final chapters of Jacket's story, things begin to unravel quickly, and it's not really all that clear what happens and why, so I'll summarize. From the first chapter, the Metro, all the way through the 11th, titled Deadline, we're playing a warped interpretation of reality as Jacket is recovering from being shot in the head by Richter, the man in the rat face mask. This is why the encounter between Jacket and Biker in Neighbors is different from each perspective. In the first one, we're seeing the encounter through Jacket's eyes, while in the second, we're seeing what really happened through Biker's eyes. It's also why, at some point, Beard begins to act strangely, soon being replaced by Richter, and why at around the same time you begin seeing corpses just hanging around at various places, such as your apartment and the bar. Most of the game is really just Jacket's brain trying to cope with its trauma, but the way the story is told makes you think it's entirely a figment of his imagination. In terms of gameplay, Hotline Miami is a top-down shoot-'em-up reminiscent of games like the original Grand Theft Auto, where the goal is to enter the stage and eliminate the enemies in the most creative ways possible. If you're quick about it, or if you're bold in how you execute the plan of attack, you'll receive score increases which will lead to unlocking new masks, all of which do something different, and new weapons which will randomly spawn somewhere in the stage. It's up to you to figure out how you'll approach each new challenge. Will you rely solely on melee, long-range firepower, or a hybrid of both? I must applaud the developers, as the feeling of taking down baddie after baddie with a knife, katana, or drill is one of the most satisfying feelings, and it's honestly part of what kept me coming back after each and every death. Sure, I used firearms if and when the situation called for it, but given the choice, I would always choose a bladed weapon to challenge myself. If I was able to complete the stage entirely with a knife or with a drill, it felt good. I will warn you, however, the game can be quite difficult if you don't work out a game plan, and you may notice yourself getting increasingly frustrated with each failed attempt. I advise, in these cases, to walk away, to take a break. I promise you the game will be there later, but thanks to the high speed and intensity of Hotline Miami, you may need to approach this one in sessions. I really like the soundtrack, comprised of artists such as Sun Ra, Jasper Byrne, Perturbator, and Scattle, but one track I'd like to highlight is Inner Animal by Scattle. It plays in one of the later chapters, and it's so well placed that it feels like the kind of thing you'd listen to as you're preparing to settle the score with an old rival in the summer of '89. I remember putting lyrics to it back in the day, which I still sing every now and again. I will admit, not all of the tracks in this game were created equal. There are some that are like nails on a chalkboard after enough time has passed, but for the most part, they choose some real winners. If you're new to the Hotline Miami Gauntlet, here are some things I wish someone had told me before I started playing. If you're having trouble with rankings, try running through the stage with Richard, as it would seem being unarmed and performing execution kills awards bonuses. If you're still having trouble with rankings, once you unlock the Carl mask, use it. If you're strategic about it, the knockdown plus drill execution will award points not only for knocking the enemy down, but also for performing the coup de grace. It might be a good idea to keep track of what weapons you've used, especially if you're aiming to secure that platinum trophy or achievement. In order to nab the plat, you'll need to not only use all melee weapons as you ordinarily would, but you'll also have to use them in executions. Also, there are separate entries for the completed pool stick and broken pool stick, so make sure to use both as a melee weapon and in a ground kill. Despite its crude aesthetic, horrific plot, and mindless, repetitive gameplay, I really enjoy Hotline Miami. It continues to blow my mind that a two-man development team could take what appears to be an overly gratuitous homage to 80s slasher flicks and took a compelling warning of the encroaching dangers of nationalism and manipulation, which seems more relevant today than when it was originally released. I tip my hat to Jonathan Soderstrom and Dennis Whedon and hope we see more from these talented developers moving forward. I really think they have a lot to offer the industry at large. Thanks for watching the Pixcelation Show. I'm really glad I managed to make an episode covering this game. It's been on my to-do list for years. If you want to see more content like this, please consider dropping a subscription and hitting that bell icon to be notified anytime I post new content. I'll be attending a few events this month. First, Anime Austin in 2 weeks, where I'll be a panelist, so if that's something you're interested in, be sure to be there. I'll also be attending San Japan from August 30th to September 1st in San Antonio, where I'll be hosting a few panels in my first con outside of Houston and Austin. In the meantime, this has been Pixcelation, reminding every single one of you to stay pixelated.
Take my hand, girl, I'll take you far from this place. I'll even take you all the way to outer space. Don't mind the blood, girl, I love you in every way. So take my hand, girl, I'll take you far from this. Take my hand, girl, I'll take you